Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitch-In Mommy, and I'm here on Monday, April 1st for a stitching update, and no fools this time, just stitching. However, I do have my cat on my lap, so who's to say what she's going to do today to trick me. First, I have one thing of haul. I have my Color and Cotton threads of the month that came in on Saturday, which is really pretty. So these are the ones for March. They're looking more washed out in the video, so let's see if I put them up against something white. Alright, Katie. But these ones are nice and muted. I get the all colors version, so they kind of vary whether or not they're what they look like. Sometimes they're muted, sometimes they're more bright. But they're not crazy bright like the brights are. So still not, this one is, this is a lot pinkier than it's showing. Let's see, this is, what is this one called? Pink Sands. And yeah, it's not showing pink to you at all. It is pink. It's not super pink, it's like a very light terracotta kind of. So it's very not what you're seeing there, so that's too bad. Clay, that's fairly close, maybe a little darker. And Cactus, which is like no, not as green. It's not that green. It's like tans and grays and things, so that's interesting that it's coming up so different. Mint Julep, which is a lot greener, so everything's washed out. I wonder if I take that down a notch. Alright, Kitty. I know you're being helpful because I'm talking and now you gotta get up. And then this last one is Tartans, which is a really pretty, you know, blue and... Alright, Kitty. So now she's gonna rub. So I'm sad you're not able to see these colors in all their beauty, but they are really pretty. So those are fun. I have a whole bunch of fancy floss that I need to bobbinate, and it's been a while since I've had a good excuse to do that, because usually I don't like to take my normal stitching time to do that. And when we watch, usually it's Deadliest Catch is what we watch. We've been watching it since the very beginning, so I like to follow the story, but it's not crazy important that I watch everything, and so that's a good one to bobbinate floss to, and I think that's coming back in season in the next couple weeks, so for a new season, so that'll be fun to have some time to get some of these on cards and ready to go, because in the new year, when of course I'm going to start all the things, it'll be fun to have some of those to choose from. Let's go ahead, I'll do that at the end, I guess. When I saw you last, I was debating, I had one more day on my Stargazer rotation, but I was not happy with where I ended up on Dragon Ride. So I was hoping to maybe get a little bit of both done on Monday, and I did. And I think I finished some of one of them on Tuesday as well before I started H Fairy. So I got a little bit of both on those ones. So this is Dragon Ride by Teresa Wensler. Very colorful. This one is for my middle son who loves dragons. And this is what that looked like last week. Alright, I shifted it just a little bit so I can hang it up for its full length back here behind the sunspot. You can see what it looks like now. And then I'll pull it closer. I managed to get all the stitches in the dragon's face finished. And I pulled some of them down here also on the neck. He'll have a little patch right here that's like purple, and then his rein, I guess, and the rest of his neck. I was going to want to backstitch this area because I thought he would enjoy that, and then I looked and there's like 4 or 5 different colors of backstitching just in this area. So her backstitching, along with blended threads and everything, is no joke. So I decided I was already past my rotation for that on this month. I wasn't going to bother with that. I was done. So next time I might work more on that purple area and the rest of its neck, just so I can be a little bit, have a little bit more done before I get into the backstitching. So we'll see. because I don't want to do part of it and then not have to do it all the way if the thing next to it's not finished. So that's that. Come on. She doesn't like it when I talk to you. She gets disturbed, I think. Yeah. You get disturbed. So here's Stargazer. And I'm doing my conversion of this one. Here's what she looked like before. Back here is better lighting, because that was easy just to keep going on that color. So next time I pull this out, which will be Stitch Mania, when I'm going to work on all my Mirabilias. All my Mirabilias will get 2 days. I'll work on her again. Then I will probably just work on her jacket to finish more of her upper coat there. And I did decide what I was going to do in April, so I will share that at the end. But I will not bring Stargazer out in April. I feel really unorganized and flustered right now because of the kitty, and my kids are in the other room watching a show, and the sunspot is bothering me. So it is what it is. It's spring break. It's not normal. But we're here, and we're going to make the best of it. So Tuesday, I worked on H Fairy for my niece, and I was pretty happy with what I was able to do on this. So this is what that looked like last time. It's thinner fabric, so it needs a back. So there's where I am now. I did the beading over here, and then I kept beading. I had more. I'm using a color of DMC that's similar to the background color. And so I did all of these with the same thread, and then I moved over here until my thread ran out, which meant I also got to put on these treasures, which was really fun. So there's more leaves and beads that spread out here, but I just did as much as my thread had, and then I stopped. And then I started working on the rest of her wing. So it's going to start to attach, and there's some more right here that I'll do next time. But that turned out really nice. It's coming along. So now the top, like, I still need to backstitch her skin, but all of this is done now. Oh, and she has, this is will be backstitched to attach to her body right there too, like on top of her wing. So I'll do that later. Once the wing is done, I'll do those backstitching lines. And then I'll get to move down into more leaves, and it'll be all good. So that's fun. That's coming along. This one I'm doing blending filament with 2 strands of floss and 1 strand of filament, and the chart calls for 0 blending filament and only Krynic backstitching on the wings. But on my S Fairy, I thought I'll do 1 strand of thread and 1 strand of filament, and it's much more blingy and filamenty. But this time I thought, well, I'll focus more on the thread color and just a little bit of a hint of blending filament. So that's what this one is. This one is more thread, less filament ratio. And so there's that one. And then I worked on Midsummer Roses the rest of the time. And it took a little bit of time to get into it. This is Midsummer Roses by Paul Levon. It's my oldest whip. Started in the late 90s. It was a little hard to get into it. So the first couple days I didn't really feel like working on it, but I forced myself to do a little bit. And that seems to be what I've had to do many times when I am supposed to be working on this one. So my plans going forward into April, because Midsummer Roses and Furry Animals Freebie, my little Haid, are both so close to being finished, I'm going to try to focus on them to completion in the month of April. So I feel like they're holding me back from enjoying all of my whips because they're so close to a finish, I feel like they should be finished and they're not. And so it's kind of frustrating to keep bringing them out over and over and not have them be done yet. And I like them, but I just want them done at this point, so that I can just kind of fritter around in all of my other whips that are nowhere near being finished and just enjoy the process of stitching on those without the pressure of trying to finish something. So in April, I'm going to continue on with my 6 one-day whips. That's the plan at this point anyways, and then for the rest of the time it works out perfectly to have 12 days on Midsummer Roses and 12 days on Furry Animals Freebie, and potentially I could maybe finish them both in the month of April. I'm very nervous about that because I know my life can be crazy and unpredictable, and yeah, so I'm not sure if that will actually happen, but that's the goal, and at the very least I'll get really close. So this is what sorry kitty, this is what Midsummer Roses looked like last time, and here it is now. And I don't know if you can tell what I've done, but I've finished the lighter 2 shades of green throughout the whole thing, and then I've started in on the darkest shade of cream. There was also a couple little bits in here that hadn't been done that were like gray or dark green or dark pink that I had missed, so I was going through up close and seeing like, did I finish everything I was supposed to finish, and then fill them in. So there's actually more stitching in this area than I thought there was, so I still have more of this dark beige color to do down here, and then my next color will be, I think, to fill in the darker shades down here, and then do the last 2 beigey colors on the wall, and then backstitch, because that's it. But the backstitching is going to be a really long process too, as you could probably imagine. I love looking at this close up with all those fractionals. It just looks so cool. Sorry about the light. There's really nothing I can do if I sit in this spot. But I love seeing all those fractionals. It just looks so cool. So it's going to be really fun to get this backstitched. And I could potentially start backstitching in here, but I think what I'm going to do is similar to the color by color. I'm just going to try to get away from the sun a little bit more. I'll just keep doing color by color with the backstitching too, because there's several colors of backstitching. So I'll finish all the stitching and then I'll do color by color with the backstitching. So this is where this is at now. It's gonna have a break today and tomorrow for my husband's piece and my son's piece. Potentially today's the tricky one with my husband's piece because his is a surprise. So if I might work on it a little bit this afternoon. I might get some time this evening to work on it when he's not around, or when he's not in the room. But I may also finish up this dark color on in this section as well, just to get that done before I take a couple days off. And then tomorrow, I'll work on my son's piece, and then this will get 4 days. I'll take a break for my S-Fairy, then I'll get several more days, and then I'll take a break for my aunt's piece, and then several more days, and then I'll switch to Furry Animals Freebie. So who knows? I'm a little nervous because there's still a good amount left on this, so wish me luck. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but I do want to see it done. So the other thing I was remembering, I don't know, some of you might have remembered me saying this before, the reason I think this languished for so long is because when I was working on this in high school, it's kind of hard to see, but I was doing 3/4 stitches along the diagonals instead of quarter stitches. So I would have a full, like a quarter stitch and the full cross, and then on this with one color, and then a quarter stitch and another full cross of the other color on the others, all in the same square, and then the back stitching will go right along on that, and it was very full. And I realized at some point in my, stitching life that it was a little easier when there's back stitching to just do 2 quarter stitches and let the back stitching be the main line. And it's not as bulky, and I really like doing it that way now. So when I'd pull this out to work on it, I'd be like, oh, why haven't I worked on this? Oh yeah, it's like that. And I didn't want to do 2 styles in the same piece, and so I just put it away again. And eventually I realized, you know what, I'd rather just finish it in 2 styles than not finish it at all. So everything that I've done is using the quarter stitch method. But yeah, several of these old stitches here are even 3/4 stitches. So it's an interesting blend, but that's, I think, the big reason why this languished for 23 years. It's because I didn't want to keep working on it when I didn't like that method of stitching anymore. And then eventually I realized I didn't care anymore. I just wanted it done, and I didn't care if the styles were different on the same piece. I just wanted it done. So it'll look slightly different on the top and the bottom, but I don't think anyone's going to really care or notice. So, so my husband's piece, which may see sometime today, is Simpsons. That is a full coverage piece that I'm taking out the background. Like, I'm not doing the white here or the white in the back here. I will do this part because this isn't necessarily pure white. And I will do his shirt and their eyes and things like that. So there is some white I will stitch, but this I'm doing 1/1 half stitches on 40 count Vertil even weave. And so far I just have some on Homer. So what I would like to do is, the page below here that I've recharted is not fully complete, so rather than continue down here and then have to re-highlight all those later when I get the whole page done, I'm going to head this way, because this page over here where their hands are joining and the start of Marge is finished. So I think I'm going to head this way and maybe work on their hands. Because it is nice to do some of the confetti and then some of the fill-in. So I could go this way, do some of the outline of their hands, and then actually do the yellow of their hands. And that could be a nice, especially if I usually talk to my sister on Monday nights, so maybe in the afternoon I could do some of the outline stitches that need more counting to get over to those hand areas, and then while I'm chit-chatting, I can just go back and forth with my yellow, filling in some hand area. So that might be nice, a nice game plan for today. And then tomorrow, where is it? Tomorrow I'll work more on my son's piece, Touchdown, which I'm converting to be John Elway and Charles Woodson of the Broncos and the Raiders. Here this is. And here this is right now. So I will likely work more on Charles Woodson to get him more, these numbers done, more of his jersey done. Get him in a better place for backstitching. I don't know that I'll do any backstitching, but I'll at least fill him out some more. So that's where he's at. And that's where this piece is at. This is one that potentially, along with my fairies, might get finished by the end of the year, even with just working on it one day a month. That might not be true, but it feels like it could be. And then I'll work on Midsummer Roses for 4 days, and then Sunday is my S Fairy day, so you'll see that one again as well. So there's my S Fairy, and this one is making great progress. The main S is almost done. This is on Color and Cotton Rosewater, 32 count Lugana, and so it's all finished from till about here. And so I need more of this S, and then that S will curl around, and then there's another little curl with a flower. So I'm excited to see more structure develop as I move down. So that's fun. But the main fairy and all of that is finished, so that's fun. This one definitely, I think, will get finished this year. So even 1 day a month, pretty good progress gets made on stuff. So that's all I'll be working on until hopefully I'll see you again. Then I'll work more on Midsummer Roses and stuff. And until the 16th is when I have that. I'll do more on the quick stitch iris piece next week, but I'll show you that later because I won't be working on that before I come back to you. Lord willing, I will be back next Monday. So that's the plan. I've also been working on my temperature pieces. Still working on getting caught up on my quilt. That's the other thing that I might put some extra time in if my husband ends up wandering around too much today. Then I might do more on this than I might normally, just so his Simpsons piece can stay a secret. So this is my temperature quilt pattern. You can find on my website. This is the mock-up of 2 years ago, what the temperatures were. This year is proving to be much cooler. Here's what it looked like before. And here it is now. So, did a little bit more sashing right here and filled in some of these colors and a few of these warms. So, but technically today I could go all the way to the bottom with March. So, because today is April 1st, and I do mine the day after because I want to make sure the hot was a for sure high from the day before. So I could finish all of March today. That's a lot of stitching, so I probably won't. But I usually like to do a little bit more, a few more blocks than I would normally have done on a stitching day on this, just so that I can get caught up again. So I would normally do 2 blocks in one day, so I like to do a little bit more than that in order to try to get caught up. And it's not necessarily in like full blocks. It could be like, because 2 blocks is 2 highs and 2 lows, so it's like 4 triangles worth. So I'll try to do at least 4 triangles, or more than 4 triangles, to be slowly chipping away at the being behind on it, if that makes any sense. Because once I have a color on my needle, it's nice to just keep going. And then my other temperature one is my balloons, and I'm really enjoying how this one's turning out. That's what this one looks like, the mock-up from 2017. And here's where this one is. This was more or less caught up. So this is what that looked like before, and here it is now. So I've got one more day on March to finish. This big balloon has 3 months worth, so it'll be the end of May before that balloon is finished. So, but March is almost done on that balloon, and I love how these chevrons are turning out. They just look pretty cool. And this is, both of these are 28 count, 1/1 on this light blue even weave from MCG Textiles. Another cloud is starting right here, so if I get my quilt caught up, I could start working on the cloud. I don't see that happening. So far, I have so much sashing on the quilt that if we do family reading or something, I could probably have plenty of sashing to work on for the foreseeable future. Even if I'm not working on blocks, I could work on more sashing. So, but I can also have that as a home project too, to work on the cloud if I get some time. Probably not this week, but. And then my other travel piece that I've been working on in the car has seen more time to this week than I kind of originally expected. And that's Hoot by Bank Creek. I have some orts in there from when I was working on it at the park. I took it to the park, I took it to the orthodontist when my son had an appointment, and I took it to, it had a few days in the valet line while school is still in session. This coming week, there's a few opportunities that I might get to work on it as well, and so it should see some more time this week, even though there's no school. So this is what it looked like before, and here's it's at now. So I'm really happy with how this is coming along, and I really, really, really want to get the dark blue brown done. There's brown eyes in the center there, and some French knots here, and their beaks, and that's just going to make them pop. Look like cute little owls. But I got all the white done. The white was Grits by Weeks Dye Works. This light tan color is Mellow Caramel by Victoria and Motto, and the yellow is something mustard, also by Victoria and Motto. And the brown I'm going to use, I believe, is Molasses by Weeks Dye Works. Nope. Glowing Marigold is the yellow I used. And the mustard is the fairy's dress on my letter H fairy. That's where I'm getting that color. So far, I'm really enjoying this. And so when these owls, there's the dark brown in here, and then there's another color in the feathers. And then I'll start in on, you know, the letters here that are the different color, and then I'll have Hoot in an even brighter, fun color. So this is coming along really well. I'm really, really happy about that. And I'm not worried about not giving this a main stitching time in April, because it's getting so much, it's progressing so nicely just as a travel project, because it's pretty quick to stitch. So I'm not worried about getting that done in time for May Teacher Appreciation Week. That's coming along nicely. I also kept forgetting to share with you progress on my diamond painting. I haven't worked on it in a couple weeks, but I could have shown you progress like 2 videos ago and I forgot, and then the next video I forgot again. So I'm going to show you now, because there's potential that I will work on it this week with my son while he's home. So this is the one I'm doing. I bought the Heaven and Earth Designs quick stitch chart, and I bought blank canvas and all the resins that match up with the DMC numbers. These Heaven and Earth Designs charts tell you exactly how many stitches each color uses, so it's easy to translate that to how many packets of beads you need, or resins, or whatever they call them. So, the little diamonds. So this is what this looked like when I showed you last time, and here it is now. I have finished this whole column and then started in on this one, and the start of the butterfly is like right here, so I think I'll get a couple a couple colors of the butterfly wing right here, but this column has the main start of the butterfly, so I'm really excited to get to the butterfly. I think that'll be fun. But I'm really enjoying it so far, and it's fun to work on it with my son. So that's how far I am right now, and I will possibly come and show you a little update next time if I get at least a column done. But it'd be nice to get another 2, like a column and a half done, so I can get into that butterfly. That would be really fun. So I'm also working on the puzzle that I shared with you. So here's the puzzle so far. It's really hard to get it. It's like really zoomed in really far for some reason. So this is the puzzle. The stitch in time. So far we're doing the winter, doing one season at a time, and I pulled a bunch of pieces for fall, and I am a puzzler, so I could definitely do this really quickly by myself. But the point is to do it with my daughter, so I am waiting till I have time with her. So it's going a little bit slower than if it were just me, but it's really fun to do it with her. So I'll turn you back around. So that's my puzzle that I'm working on, and so that's some of the fun that I'm up to so far on spring break, and this whole week is spring break, so we'll have some time at home and some time off doing activities. So I'm hoping to have a good amount to show you next time. In the meantime, I hope you're having a fun week and enjoying the start of spring or fall, and enjoy what you're stitching on, and I will talk to you later. Happy stitching. Bye.